Campers, it's me, Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees. From Friday the 13th, I'm here with AJ, and he's got the juiciest slice ready for you. It's dripping with blood. Jason never dies.
What makes a horror film kill memorable, terrific, even in some way profound or poignant? Let's explore. Thanks for checking this out. If anything about it trips your fancy, please like, subscribe, and share.
Yes, yes.
Without further ado,
Don't look. He'll see you. Don't move. He'll hear you. Don't breathe. You're dead.
following that heartening and very reassuring campfire story, would-be Lothario Eddie coaxes the fetching virgin Karen into the woods alone.
Not that you scared me, but...
Of course.
Leading up to this, he's been doing a fair bit of ogling. And has made his desires known.
I'm not doing anything tonight, right?
Why? Who wants to know?
I want you at the rec room at 8:30.
Eddie!
Despite that Karen already recognized she was in a confusing,
I really like him. But every time I think he's serious and I really start to get into him, he blows it.
conflicted situation,
See, sometimes I really like him.
and had her doubts about Eddie.
Sometimes he really scares me. It's true.
Culminating in a ripcord in case she needs to distance from him.
It's got so I told the supervisor I didn't want to go on the overnight. You're kidding. What did he say? So if things got too heavy, I could come back to camp.
When she inquires,
Eddie, is there really a cropsomaniac?
Sure there is.
he's able,
He's from my neighborhood. You know what he does? Takes these paper bags, see? He fills them with dog shit. Then he lights them, leaves them in front of somebody's door. When they open the door, they go like that.
to make her laugh, with apparent ease.
You're crazy.
Yeah, man.
The coaxing continues.
Crazy for you.
I say coaxing because it's less about seduction and more about sealing the deal.
I can't figure you out. No? I mean, first you tell me you like me, and then 10 seconds later you're looking off here, like you don't even know who I am.
Sensing perhaps that she's on the cusp of a bad decision, she has reservations, suddenly at even more of a crossroads than she theretofore realized.
I do like you, Eddie. But
For what?
you're always talking about how many women you've had. I don't want to be just another statistic.
Likely having inflated his numbers to be cool and seem experienced. Talk about a probable deception coming back to bite him in the butt.
Karen, knock it off, will you?
Maybe if he went the other route and acted like it was his first time too, she would be less weirded out. The wheedling continues.
If two people like each other, if they want each other, so you do it. Now, what's wrong with that?
As he makes his best argument.
Now, we like each other, right? And we're alone. You can't blame me for trying, can you? Come on, what do you say?
And obviously a little flattered and charmed, Karen offers a small concession.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Eddie, disappointed it'll take more effort but not yet willing to give in when there's still a chance to get in, shifts focus to some playful but certainly nothing but chaste skinny dipping.
Alright, let's take a swim.
What now? I haven't got a
Yeah.
swimsuit.
So who needs a bathing suit? Who's gonna see you here?
On some level, Karen wants to recognize the ploy.
You.
But she's charmed, remember? Eddie disrobes before her eyes, and she glances away a little bashfully.
You're free to do what you want. I'm taking a dip.
The show of confidence perhaps elicits the response he wants.
Eddie,
What?
promise?
Hey.
I'm sure he's entirely trustworthy.
Relax. Just gonna take a quiet swim around and head back to the camp.
Smooth gamesmanship.
Come on.
To trick Karen out of her clothes and into the water. But is it enough to sway her into going all the way?
It's nice, huh?
It's freezing.
Come here, I'll warm you up.
She seems receptive. Cropsy peeps on their snogging.
You're not gonna start that now, are you, right?
So there's a real possibility.
He's a sexual pervert.
Ultimately, Karen's inner Karen kicks in and says,
I can't.
and Eddie takes it about as well as receiving one of those dump sacks he referenced earlier.
Cut out.
Why'd you come out here, then? Get the fuck out of my face.
The game has no winners when one of the players would rather go bust than make an unfortunate play, and Cropsy watches as Karen swims back to shore, and Eddie acts childishly. Eddie, showing he's a kid without any idea of the greater nuance of sex and wooing, packs up his blue balls and swims away. Karen discovers to her deep discomfort, a pesky soul has taken her clothes.
Oh no, where are my clothes?
And scattered them willy-nilly. Interestingly, her shoes were left.
Come on, you guys.
Oh,
Suggesting she's playing into a plan by wandering around in the woods nude. This, of course, isolates her as she collects her garments. And once she's absolutely alone and there's no one to hear or see what becomes of her, Cropsy springs. Punishing her for falling into his trap because she certainly didn't do anything else to deserve this cruel fate, like have premarital sex. Some exits are extraordinary because they go against the grain. They choose to be anomalous. They break some tenet of horror, some rule, some spoken or unspoken understanding of how things go, and it differentiates them from the rest of the pack for daring to be transgressive. All that being said, I don't know if The Burning set out to create such an element. It was the heyday of the slasher craze after all, and everyone was cashing in, trying to come up with their own Michael or Jason, which is how we got Freddy and Chucky, and scripts were being whipped out left and right. And though there was certainly a template,
there's a formula to it! A very simple formula!
Certain hard and fast edicts had yet to be firmly established. When the film makes a direct correlation between Karen rejecting intercourse and Cropsy seizing the chance to take her out, whether intended or not, it went against what would come to be accepted horror movie dogma. Today it's entrenched that having sex in a horror film is a good way, short of extenuating circumstances, to end up on the chopping block. Scream said it outright.
You can never have sex. Big no-no! Big no-no! Sex equals death!
Only to renege by allowing Sidney to rise to the challenge and defeat Billy and Stu despite.
That's right. You gave it up. Now you're no longer a virgin. Now you gotta die. Those are the rules.
And it has only become more firmly cemented as the trope has continued to be observed, in recent times culminating in a no-budget film literally titled Don't Fuck in the Woods, about a creature drawn by sex, and the well-received X, about a ceaselessly horny old woman spree killer set off by the dirty acts of a porn production. I posit that had Karen succumbed to Eddie's pedantic wiles, and they stuck together, no pun intended, at least at this juncture Cropsey wouldn't have gotten her. So this leads to one conclusion. Poor Karen only wound up on the business end of his shears because she chose to stay virginal, which flies in the face of what a good girl who decides to cling to her chastity deserves for choosing to stay pure, whatever that means, because it don't necessarily take sex to ruin a person's purity. On some level, even considering sexual relations made her a little impure, I guess, so perhaps that was the transgression so intolerable she had to die. Or maybe that she stripped nude to skinny dip. Or maybe Cropsey just had deeper antisocial problems that go beyond the event that turned him into a disfigured killer. Why do I think the pair would have better odds sticking together? Cropsey only strikes when most advantageous for him, be it when the victim is alone or when more than one is trapped together inescapably. At this point, he was in the background, stalking his victim surreptitiously, keeping his presence on the down low as he prepared to go for his true target, Counselor Todd, who was present at the prank that saw him set on fire. Had the lurid bit of business commenced without a skinny dip, Karen's clothes would have been presumably too nearby to be snatched. Even had her clothes still been dispersed, barring Eddie departing immediately following their coupling, he would have been there to help her collect her things. I tend to think she could have convinced him to stay. Were Cropsey to set upon both of them in open ground, one might escape, and then the jig would be up. His presence would be exposed. Maybe he wouldn't have cared if that happened, but it would have changed the measured approach he was taking up until then. Seems to me he wasn't quite ready to make his murder spree known. The lesson might be that you can't assume there's a reward for choosing to be good or virtuous, or making good decisions in general. The sex might have been a regrettable disappointment, but she might have lived. And by breaking the you can never have sex rule, had he gotten her later, it at least would have been more deserved by virtue of that backward way of thinking.
Look at that ass.
Well, I've about reached the end of the rope, so I won't leave you dangling. Thanks for listening to my blathering. Please share any refutations, opinions, accusations, japes, or other ideas in the comments below. And please join me for whatever I'm up to next time. Bye now!
Bye, creepy man! Keep it creepy!
It's time. What do you say now, sucker?
You better just get on with it then.